Melo's good, man. I was just with Melo in Paris. He's one of my good friends, man. He's a good dude.
That's killer, man.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, I got 1,000 FaceTimes to answer, but I appreciate you calling. I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir, man.
All right, bet.
Oh, so he think he can answer that guy, but not answer me. That ain't how it's going down. 899-6071. You're gonna answer this time. Oh shoot. I gotta ring.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. The number you dialed has been changed, disconnected, or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again. Announcement 2, switch to 0-4. Welcome to Verizon Wireless. The number you dialed has been changed, disconnected, or is no...
Yo, what's up guys? It's me, Zachary. Jimmy Butler might not have answered my calls, but that's okay, you know, it's alright. The Minnesota Timberwolves will still most likely be one of the most improved teams this year. We expect them to win games this year. Can't say that hasn't been said just about every other year. But this time, it's for real. They're gonna be much better this year. That's what we always say after we say that we expect them to win games. But like I said, this time, it's true. I say the same thing every year about them, but I like legit this time they got Jimmy Butler. They got Jimmy Butler in a trade, and that automatically is gonna make them into a winning team. And Jimmy Butler has been working on improving the team even more, but we'll talk about that in a second. First off, we gotta talk about what Karl Anthony Towns expects out of this new young team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns expects this to become an NBA Dynasty. A core of Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jimmy Butler to become an NBA Dynasty. As he said this yesterday, quote, "This is what dynasties are made of." Big claims, Mr. Towns, big claims, but not unrealistic claims whatsoever. The Wolves are one of the most hyped up teams right now. The hype has died down a bit since the Chris Paul trade, since Chris Paul joined James Harden in Houston. I told you guys the hype train is a crazy thing. Just about a week ago, it was all on the Wolves, and now a bunch of people are hyping up the Rockets. It won't take too much longer for the hype train to leave the Rockets once free agency starts either. But hype train aside, I do agree with Karl Anthony Towns. Look, anytime you have a do-it-all center like Karl Anthony Towns, a do-it-all shooting guard / small forward in Jimmy Butler, and then one of the purest best scorers in the league in Andrew Wiggins, of course you have potential there to become a dynasty. But that being said, if you expect the Wolves to compete for a championship this year, if you expect them to win it this year, you need to take a quick trip back down to reality, because you tripping. It would be a surprise to me if the Wolves made the Western Conference Finals. Keep in mind that this is still a young team. Outside of Jimmy Butler, of the players they have on that roster right now, the players that are worth mentioning, the players that will get playtime, none of them have even seen the playoffs. So if you expect them to make the Western Conference Finals their first run, once again, you might need to lower your expectations just a little bit. For the future, when you have a core like them, then a dynasty is most definitely possible.
How active will you be in recruiting free agents to come and join this Timberwolves team? Because you must feel that you're not too far away from contending.
Oh yeah, we're good, really good. And I'll be talking to a lot of really good players, much better than myself, I would tell you that, and get them here to join what we have. I know that with the support that I've already felt from this city, they're definitely going to love it. Getting here with this young core, winning these games, anybody's going to want to be a part of that.
So you can call all these free agents, but you can't return my calls, huh? But according to reports, one of the free agents that Jimmy Butler has been in contact with is Kyle Lowry. Yep, Jimmy Butler has been recruiting Kyle Lowry ever since he got to the Wolves, apparently. And look, I know Lowry has a bad reputation. You know, a lot of people think he sucks because he always fails to deliver in the playoffs when it matters most. As much as I like Lowry, I can't disagree with that. I mean, it's been proven over these past 3 years. He disappears in the playoffs. He'll have a couple of terrible games, one tremendous game where you think he's finally gotten into the groove and has found his old self, but then he just follows it up by playing like trash again. But think about this. On the Raptors, Kyle Lowry was always the first or the second option on offense. He'd have to carry a large portion of the scoring load if that team had a chance to win. That's a lot of pressure to be put on Kyle Lowry. And if we're all honest with ourselves here, no matter if you're a Kyle Lowry fan or not, is Kyle Lowry actually good enough to be a first or a second option on a contending team, on a championship level team? He's not. Kyle Lowry is one of the best point guards in the league. He's not the type of player you want as the first or second option on your team. Put him on the Wolves though, and he becomes just an excellent fourth option on the team behind Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, and Andrew Wiggins. Him as a fourth option is freaking ridiculously good. There won't be nearly as much pressure on Lowry to deliver huge scoring performances in the big games. He can just go out there, play smart basketball, play defense, and hit some open shots. And while Lowry might not be that consistent, especially in the playoffs, he can still get hot and play like the best player on the court any given night. And if he has one of those games for Minnesota, that's like a free win, because ain't no team trying to deal with a red hot Kyle Lowry and still try and contain all the other weapons that Minnesota will have on the court at the same time. I mean, that's just impossible. But the most important thing about Lowry is the fact that he doesn't mind playing off the ball. He can play off the ball. We've seen that in his time with Toronto. When you're playing with DeMar DeRozan, one of the best one-on-one players in the game, you're gonna have to be able to play off the ball. And Lowry has proven to be able to do that. Whereas in Minnesota, Jimmy Butler can run the point guard too. Jimmy Butler can make plays. So if you have another playmaker that can make plays, it's important for your secondary playmaker to be able to do things other than just make plays, and Kyle Lowry can shoot, so it's a match made in heaven. Ricky Rubio is a playmaker, but he can't shoot as consistently, so that could become a problem for the Wolves. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw Kyle Lowry suit up for the Minnesota Timberwolves next year, but Jimmy Butler did say he was talking to free agents. Multiple. I wonder who else he could be talking to. I found this to be kind of shocking, like honestly really shocking. The Phoenix Suns showing interest in Blake Griffin. Not just interest, but they have a meeting for him on the first day of free agency. When you think of Phoenix, you think of this young rebuilding team with promise in the league. You don't think of a team that's trying to go after some of the best free agents and win now. Blake Griffin, even though to me at least it feels like he just came into the league a couple years ago, I still remember when Blake Griffin first came into the league clear as day. The man is 28 years old, in the best years of his career. So I just don't understand why the Phoenix Suns would want him. He'd basically be the same thing that Eric Bledsoe is to them right now. See, Bledsoe is a great point guard for the Phoenix Suns, but they're trying to get rid of him. Why? Not because he's not good or anything, but because he's too old. Devin Booker and the newly drafted Josh Jackson and players like Marquise Chris aren't quite ready to win yet, and by the time they are ready, Eric Bledsoe won't be nearly as productive as he is now. So the thing is to get rid of him now for pieces that you can use going forward. I don't see why they're trying to get rid of Eric Bledsoe and then sign Blake Griffin when Blake Griffin's only going to take away minutes from guys like Marquise Chris. But that's not to say that the Suns wouldn't be much better with Blake Griffin. They could probably contend for like the 8th seed if they keep Eric Bledsoe and then sign Blake Griffin. Yeah, you have a core of Bledsoe, Devin Booker, Josh Jackson, and Blake Griffin. You have old man Tyson Chandler at center, but still, that could contend for the 8th seed. But what's the point? I just don't see that as a good idea for Phoenix right now. As for Blake, I don't see why he'd be interested in going to Phoenix. He has tons of other options. The Heat, the Celtics, the Thunder, the Rockets, and of course LAC if he wants to make more money than any other place. But then again, Phoenix almost landed LaMarcus Aldridge a couple of years ago, and that was a surprise to me too. By the way, the Suns have also reached out to Paul Millsap, so I'm just really confused as to what it is they're trying to do right now. Frank Ntilikina? Bikini Bottom? To be honest, I don't know how to say his last name, but it's one thing for me, just a fan, to not quite know how to pronounce his name just yet, but it's another thing for the New York Knicks, the organization that drafted him, to not know how to spell his name. Yep, that Frank kid got his first ever New York Knicks practice jersey yesterday, except technically it wasn't his name on the back of it because it was spelled all kinds of wrong. Ntilinka. Frank Tilinka. Just a little bit off there. Question of the daytime. Do you think that the Minnesota Timberwolves have what it takes to become an NBA dynasty? Do you think they will win multiple championships over the next 10 or so years? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, but now let's take a look at what you guys said in yesterday's video. And yesterday, after reports came out that the Houston Rockets were either looking to get Paul George or Carmelo Anthony, I asked you guys who would be the better fit, who they should go after, and here's what you said. Paul George, because he is more consistent than Melo, and we all know Melo will ask for a lot of money. So the Rockets should spend the money on a better younger player. Paul George is in his prime, where Melo is exiting it. Don't get me wrong, Melo will still produce. I mean, look at the numbers he put up last year, but Paul George would no doubt be the smarter option. Paul George is coming off his best season of his career, and if the Rockets want to get over the Warriors, maybe this could help them make that final push, though it'd still be pretty tough. Like mentioned in this video, adding Paul Millsap as well would create a big four for the Rockets. This would mean that there's an all-star at the point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and power forward for both teams. Carmelo, because him and Chris Paul are really close friends, and with the buyout, he plays for basically free on Houston. Will go after Paul Millsap or other good power forward. You're the best. Thank you. A report came out yesterday that I saw after I made the video that said Carmelo Anthony wants to be traded to the Houston Rockets, but if he is waived, he wants to go to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Why is he being so picky about he has to be traded to the Rockets or he's not going there? I have no idea. But another option for the Rockets, if they can't get either of those guys, would be Andre Iguodala. He's not as flashy of a name as Carmelo Anthony or Paul George, but he'll still bring a lot of valuable stuff to the team. He can still shoot the three, and he's a terrific defender and a terrific locker room personality as well, so that would be great. But apparently there's a lot of hype around Iguodala. A lot of teams are looking to get Iguodala, so if any team wants him, they had better be ready to overpay to get him. Like I said though, don't forget to leave your answer to the question of the day down in the comment section below. But other than that, thank you once again for watching the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here.